I am Anthony Ramirez. This is Small Sips. This is but a spinoff of our podcast, Comics, Collectibles, and Cafecito. I have a Cafecito over here. I have a Cafecito over there. I got two people here with me today. I got Daniel and Anthony. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves real quick, please. This is going to be a small format. It's about 15, 20 minutes. So let's see what we got going on.
Well, I'm Daniel, or Doshi for nickname, and I am a video game reseller. Have a business of my own, selling video games, collect as well. And
I'm Anthony. I am Doshi's videographer and editor for his YouTube channel.
All right. Well, welcome. And then finally, Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself, my co-host of Comics, Collectibles, and Cafecitos. Go ahead, Chris.
Omega with Fanatically Correct here. You can check out our podcast at Fan Correct, as well as the audios for Comics, Collectibles, and Cafecito. And we're going to have to squeeze you guys in a little bit more.
Just a tiny bit, but you'll be all right.
Go.
Don't worry. Be close. Shoulder. Pretend like you're at a urinal, and there's only two urinals, and you had to really get real close, gentlemen, all right? No space between.
Next time, if it's two guests, we're going to have to be together in person, too, so we can just do a split.
I can edit it all together. Nothing like a little edits.
Yeah.
So,
continue. Yeah, go.
Here's what I wanted to do, because again, these small sips, kind of like what you see from Chris, you're taking small sips, just something a little bit more digestible. So, Daniel, I've known you for a little bit more than a year. I met you at a flea market when you were selling out of your little car. And I was picking up some toys and stuff, and you've come quite a long way. I know you and I worked a lot together. You made the move from South Florida going up to New York. Dude, I check out your stuff every available moment I can. I think it's great. Some of the new videos that you've been doing on Instagram is quite amazing. I will say I'm a little jealous of those skills. So, Anthony, I have to say for you, by the way, my name's Anthony too. So great job, man. You're representing the name. So talk to me a little bit about the journey. You left South Florida, you were dealing in Funko Pops and toys, a little bit with video games. Talk to me a little bit about what that journey was to New York. And then what we talked about is kind of like finding your way to like see what it is interests you and really drive. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Right. So when I first started, I found that like I wanted to do something that was profitable, garage sales, flea market, stuff like that. And honestly, the goal was just to make a flip and find anything that was profitable, but more in my realm of like comics, Funko Pops, toys, etc.
Sure.
And honestly, after I made the move, I realized that for me personally, it was a little hard to move figurines and things like that. With Funko Pops, especially being oversaturated in the market, it's a very hard competition. But when I was selling video games during that journey and having that bunch of mixed up a lot, I realized that the games were selling more quicker than anything else that I had. So then I eventually did some research and things like that, and I realized that there's a huge market for retro gaming, and it goes for any age group as well. So you can be 50, 60 years old and it's still familiar to anybody,
Yeah.
But toys.
I plan on playing Super Mario Brothers in the nursing home, by the way, so I'm all about it, dude.
Exactly.
For sure on my end.
So the goal was to I was more driven to video games because also growing up, that's all we derived on. Middle school, we're home, we're stuck playing games all day. And we started in the generation of 64 and GameCube. So, we're 24, 25 years old now. That's retro to us. So as long as that is inside the realm, I mean, we feel old, but it is a retro gaming aspect.
Very nice.
Well, it's what we discussed earlier in our 4 o'clock session with Joey from way back when. It's kind of the same thing. This is just the era that's being capitalized on. It's a nostalgia market, and whether you're from that era or just before that era, or it passed down to you from your parents or older siblings or uncles or whatnot, there you go, Ninja Turtles.
I love this is an arcade version. Yeah.
So many of these games, and that's what's wild about it. That's what you probably guys are starting to see. With what you're doing. I checked out your website. It's really cool. Yeah, you got fair pricing, which is a big thing. To be fair about the pricing, so I guess you're getting good deals when you're finding the stuff. But it's you have like the Nintendo Classic, the Super Nintendo Classic already pre-built with all the stuff put in it, as well as a lot of these games are available on our phone and different apps. But for some reason, people rather it's almost like how vinyl's back. They're going after the original consoles and the original cartridges. It's amazing. I didn't think as a kid in the 80s, that blowing off the dust from
Yeah.
to get it working again would be something people would be looking forward to now. And it's exactly what's happening. And, the prices are almost kind of going up to what they originally were when these games sold. And then the harder to find stuff, obviously, is skyrocket. And I know that because 15 years ago, I started my journey of trying to get all the old Game Boy games for my Game Boy Advance, because the Game Boy Advance still plays the original cartridges. But I mean, it's wild. So like, what from your journey have you noticed that? What's like the craziest thing that you're seeing that's hard to get to, or that's making a comeback, or on your own that you're seeing that's really sought out after?
Honestly, it's very hard to find consoles in the boxes. I think those are very sought out because I actually have my own collection. I have a couple of consoles displayed behind me, and thankfully, great condition. But everyone is looking for a good condition cardboard. Yeah. The cardboard is always going to be more expensive than the game. You can find the games anywhere. But back then, you rip these up, you throw them out. They're gone.
Dude,
and
could you imagine? Could you imagine being Chris? We're roughly the same age. Can you imagine going to a Toys R Us when they used to have the paper slips for the video games and pulling out a red Charizard Game Boy game and walking over to the guy and paying $29.99 for it, and him giving you still in the clear plastic? Dude, I was ripping that shit open. I was like, fuck this shit. I just want this.
What's sad is they're probably hearing these stories a lot right now, which is guys mine and Anthony's age. You're hearing from them as they're re-getting these games or seeing these games on display when you do a pop-up or whatnot, or talk to you online, which is we all have the same story that we have with our collectibles too, and the action figures we play with as kids, which is, man, I sold that for like $100 at a yard sale, like 30 games together with the Nintendo, because I just wanted to put that towards my PlayStation 2 or whatever, to just get rid of it. And here you are. And I was someone, I'm meticulous. I do my Lego sets and stuff too. I had the booklets, I had the boxes, sold it all, for like dirt cheap when I was like 12, 13 years old, going to middle school. And then here we are in reverse, like, oh man, if I kept that, like things you don't realize, they just, everything has a value now of all the stuff we just took for granted, and making comebacks. 8-track, VHSs, vinyl, cartridges. It's just wild, and especially the hard cartridges, because I'm sure you guys know, the disc must be a nightmare. Like anything that's disc, like PlayStation, original PlayStation games, or Dreamcast, or any of that stuff, that's the hardest stuff, because that's all scratched up, all dinged up. But the cartridge stuff still holds.
Yes.
Yeah. A test of time for sure. So Daniel, talk to me real quick, because we're knocking on the halfway mark. So for you obviously linked up with Anthony here recently. I assume you guys were boys or friends prior to this. All right. So talk to me a little bit about this big change, because I know you made a big jump into YouTube. You had a pretty big video pop up recently with your interview of a video game store. So talk to me a little bit about how you two first linked up, what you guys already done, and what you're doing next. Because I think that's what is really important. No one gives a shit about the past. Nostalgia, funny. But what we really care about, what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do next year? Where does the growth look like?
Okay, so I'm going to start off and now I'll let you go. So when I moved back, I've known Anthony for 14 years, since 6th grade in middle school. So it's we go way back,
Way back.
And I know that he has a talent behind the camera, a master at editing, a master at filming. And I was like, okay, cool, I have a business. But then I watched my YouTube and I was like, wow, they're just vlogging what they do and do for a living. It's normal. I asked Anthony, okay, cool, yeah, I have a full-time job, I have the business, but how can we take it to the next level? How can we expose ourselves as well as be influencers, educate people, my age, how important it is to go back to the 80s and rediscover, the history behind, our roots in gaming. And so I asked Anthony, I said, hey, bro, I know you got it in you. Let's give it a shot. And we decided to follow through. 4 videos following up on 30,000 views. We gained 300 subscribers in less than 2 weeks. We're about to be monetized by next week.
Yeah, it's like 500 for monetization, right?
3,000 watch hours. We're 100 away, less than 100 subscribers away. So it's
easy,
amazing.
Baby.
And you can follow up on that with like the process of how editing goes and the filming, what goes behind.
So usually, at first, when we started planning all this filming for YouTube and all that, it was overwhelming, in my opinion.
Sure.
To figure out what we're gonna shoot, to plan all that out, it's like, okay, what exactly do we need to do? Do we have to talk to these store owners? And I don't know. It's just
It's a lot of mapping out, a lot of
Exactly,
planning.
yeah.
You know, we don't
Planning, yeah.
When we go to the stores, we don't know if they're acceptive of filming, or how they feel about it. You know,
exactly,
they might
Because
be a little.
it could be a prank. It could be these kids are throwing a prank, doing these YouTube videos, and they're gonna get me. It's like gotcha filming versus like, hey man, I genuinely give a shit about you.
Right.
So,
Gotcha.
Exactly. We've had people, tell us, "Oh, we don't know you." You know what I mean? Sorry, we don't accept filming because we're young. We get it.
Sure.
People are fools nowadays.
Yeah.
We try to be honest, but we can't force anyone to record in their story.
I think your mustache gives you at least 10 years, Daniel. So if you just let it keep on going to a beard, dude, you walk into a store, man, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy means business. But
add gray in, put some gray in.
what's nice though, dude, and the reality is you have this. So you got two bullets in your chamber, so to speak. I was a Marine Corps veteran, so I like those kind of sayings. So sorry if I trigger anybody, but you got two bullets in the chamber. That's not possible. You got one in the chamber, one in the ready. So you got a video that's done pretty good, something tangible that you can turn to an owner or someone to say, hey man, look, this has got 30,000 views in the first week. And I was there at the store talking to Carlos, who saw the video, went in there and bought something.
Right.
So now I got two proof of concepts really to say, hey man, I got something that to actually do something. I want to do this for you. Why do I want to do it? Well, it's good for my YouTube video, right? But it's also good for you. It's free advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who wants to come into my house and record me, they're more than welcome to. I mean, I don't think anyone wants to see me on the shitter, but, go for it. But I think it's pretty interesting, man, because when I saw you last, dude, you literally had a towel on the Florida sun. Collaborations are important. Thank you, Mike. And the Florida sun out in Plantation at the flea market.
Sure.
Hustling and bustling, try to make a couple bucks. You had a couple Instagram videos of you going to like Target, buying shit. Be like, yo, we just got $50 in profit here. And now, I mean, I would highly encourage anybody, whether it's my followers, whether it's Chris's followers or your own followers, if you haven't checked out that video, you should definitely go check it out. A lot of them. It's Anthony, I got to give you a lot of credit on this, dude. That shit's pretty wild. And someone speaking, I recently got into art. And the more I do it, every single day I think about it, the more I craft, I change things, I try different things. And you can really tell like a progression. And that's what you're going to find probably in the next, dude, what are we in? January? Imagine where you two are in December of this coming year, right? I think it's going to be something that you two skyrocket and really take over. So
And
I think
smart thing you guys are doing at a youthful age, which is intelligent as hell, is you're turning a passion into a side hustle, which is a side business, which you might as well tell something you enjoy as a revenue stream and as a way to write things off in your taxes. If you're going to do these things anyways, you might as well make it some type of revenue stream. So at bare minimum, you're writing off the things that you're putting into it financially. The camera equipment, the stuff that you're buying. At bare minimum, at least you're getting to write that off as opposed to just spending it anyways. You know what I mean? And then still paying extra taxes for all those things that you spent money on when you're actually turning it into some form of a business and revenue. And if you turn the passion into the main business, into your main stream of income, then you won. That's the.
Yep.
So, awesome.
So, all right, I got one last question because we're down to like our last 5 minutes or so. So, Daniel, and actually, I'm going to direct this to you, Daniel, because this is really what it's about. Whether it's the past or the present, what's like the hottest, the most OG, or the coolest, the most nostalgic thing that you've had that maybe you've kept or you sold, but like, what's your thing that's like, yo, dude, I had this or I have this? What is that?
Anthony, turn your head a little to the right. That.
Bad boy right
What is?
there.
What am I looking?
That's
Dude, I'm old, man.
That's it's the Virtual Boy. This is a discontinued Nintendo console, the first ever virtual reality headset.
What?
What?
Yes.
And
Virtual boy.
this box is super
Familiar?
fine.
Yeah, it was when Game Boy they did a Virtual Boy.
And it's conditioned.
What? That's like
This
the
Where'd you-
Power Glove.
where'd you get that?
Isolated thing.
What
got at the
retiree home did you rob to get that, Daniel? Tell me.
It was funny. and this is what I love about what we do. We go to game stores, and you know, like when it comes to game hunting, you don't know what you're gonna find. Every
Sure.
day is an adventure. That's the heart of being a reseller. So we were actually planning on going to the retro game store that we interviewed. First time going there, and it was Black Friday. We wanted to scout a store, ask the store owner if we could do an interview with him. You know, trying to get it out. So when the day comes, we don't waste our time. We're not taking any chance. We had this. He had this on the shelf. These go for over $800. We weren't planning on buying anything, but I've been looking for this for a very long time. This goes for $800. The guy sold it to me for $380.
Yo,
Nice.
I'm sorry. Is that so? That's okay. Please excuse me, because I usually deal with newer stuff, and I'm trying to get into buying collections and stuff. So is that considered sealed? Is that mint in box? Like, what's the phrase that you would use to describe that? Out of curiosity.
Complete in box. Therefore,
Complete in box.
Box has the console in it, the instructions, you know, all the wiring.
Unreal.
Stuff. Doesn't have
Have
to
you
be
put that thing on? Have you put it on?
Right here. Box.
Well, they're gonna take it out of the box. Oh, they have it out of the box.
Oh my god!
You know what it looks like? It's like a giant. What was the thing with the red thing with the?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
The viewfinders, dude, that is so crazy.
Comes on a
and it's not that
dude.
different from the Oculus.
Yeah, it's not. It's not that off.
Straps. It has a tripod. You lean into it and you play with the controller.
That's the control, dude. I've been playing video games my entire life. I've never seen that.
Reverse technology is better. See, this is what people talk about going to the moon. We don't have the technology for it. That's why. Look at that. That's smart. You don't have that weight on your head.
Yeah.
Portable. The controller powers on the console. It's it's wireless.
Okay, so.
And what was the release date on that? I don't know if you know that.
1995. It got discontinued on 1995.
I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Depending on when it came out.
Not 1995 and got discontinued, or it got discontinued in
Same year.
1995.
Wow.
That's the same year. I think there's only like 17 games made for it.
Whoa.
Okay, last question, and then we're going to cut this thing off because I need to keep these small sips
small.
digestible.
Yeah.
Daniel, are you going to keep that or are you going to sell it?
Oh, that's mine.
Nah,
That's
man. That's
beautiful. That's what you got to do.
Well, we're going to have to eventually have you guys on because we have some questions that would be really fun to ask you that we're going to be guests in the long format in Comics, Collectibles, and Cafecito. So we'll have you back. Just let everybody know where they can find you, what's your Instagram, what's your...
Yeah, drop that plug, baby.
Yeah. So, guys, give us a follow on Doshigotdeals on Instagram and YouTube, guys. Plenty more projects to come, working on current videos. Right now, it's be a blast. You guys are going to see our journey and growth. And, guys, let's all have fun and plug into nostalgia together.
Nice.
Yo, how do you spell that? How do you spell that?
It's going to be Doshigotdeals. Doshi.
Beautiful.
He's got in the neon in the background. Genius.
Yeah.
And, of course, host over here, Anthony, RAM-Fam Collectibles. Check him out, everything RAM-Fam. Check out our podcast, Comics, Collectibles, and Cafecitos. Check out my podcast with Fanatically Correct. You can check out as well as the audios for Comics, Collectibles, and Cafecitos on there. We got videos on YouTube. All the videos of this stuff will be on the RAM-Fam YouTube channel. Thank you so much, guys, Anthony and Daniel, for joining us. Thank you for doing a small sips, Anthony. And this is your co-host, Omega, saying peace.
Drink up.